So now you get into the whole deal. You have people in his ear telling him, hey man, you need to go get your get back. You got to get your receipt. And in wrestling, a receipt is when somebody does you bad or somebody beats on you, you go give it back to them tenfold. Raja was not educated to understand that in a working way. That's why I was just so puzzled at how all of this even happened in the first place. Mm-hmm. And it's just a sad, sad deal. I'm so glad that Stu is okay. Hopefully that the monies raised for him will go to his medical care and help him to rehabilitate and be the guy that he was before. Yeah. But, we'll get into it later on, David. And I told you when we looked at the film that this guy should never be around wrestling again.
Yeah.
He should never be. He had contentment for pro wrestling. He even said in the video, man, I don't even really get down with wrestlers like that anyway. Yeah. He's like, they ain't real. And he wanted to make an example, and he did. He succeeded, but it's going to hurt him a lot.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. And speaking to what you're saying, there's a point in the video when I went back through it, he actually says, I've always wanted to F up a pro wrestler. He didn't say right. F. I've always wanted to F up a pro wrestler. And to me, watching that, that's a wild thing to say. Like, what kind of a dream is that? So he already wasn't in the mind state. And to go back to something else you said, this whole situation kind of happened because of terms, a receipt. They assumed Raja knew what a receipt was. He clearly did not. Because you can see his friend who was there, who apparently brought him, was AJ Mana. That's who he was visiting. There's a part where AJ says to him, hey, you remember what a receipt is, right? And Raja just says, yeah. Now, right there, we don't know if because apparently there was a prior conversation they were referring to. Did they have a conversation? Did somebody have a conversation with Raja about what a receipt is? Because clearly he didn't understand it. And this could be confusing for somebody like Raja. So even if he does know what a receipt is, obviously you're getting a get back. However, the get back you're getting is still working. You may lay a shot in stiffer, a little bit more snug, but it's still safe. This does not give you, free reign just to go beat somebody down and nearly kill them. It does not do that. That is not what a receipt is. So Raja, you can tell like he's kind of, struggling with this. He's like, they told me I can hit him for real. Well, not exactly. They didn't. They said you could get something back and you lay it in. Because AJ keeps telling him, tag that MFer. But tag him, AJ, in AJ's mind, I'm assuming he means safe. Just whatever your one shot is, lay it in. Make that count. Nowhere did I hear somebody say, nearly kill him. Give him 20-something punches. Do whatever you're going to do. And another thing that was just a disaster, hey, if I'm working with somebody, if I was Psycho Stu, if I'm working with somebody and I know we're going to have a spot, and I know this guy is not a worker, you better believe no matter what, at some point, I'm going to talk to this individual to make sure we're on the same page. At least that. But in reality, I'm probably going to walk through it or rehearse it with them. So they're on the same page and I'm on the same page. But that didn't happen. So it was like they kept trusting somebody else to tell him. I don't know if Psycho Stu thought that the promoters were going to tell him what his spot was, but that didn't happen. It got lost in translation and fell through the cracks. And this is what can happen. I mean, this is a disastrous consequence, just disastrous.
Yeah, no, thank you so much, both of you, for your insights on this. I mean, Mark, you mentioned that in previous interviews, you also talked about being smartened up yourself about the wrestling industry before you really got into it. And I would love both of your perspectives on how do you handle a situation as a organization, a promotion, a coach? How do you smarten up these individuals that are going into this industry that don't understand it, that didn't really, they didn't necessarily grow up with it. Again, an MMA fighter moving into the wrestling industry. How do you smarten up kind of these crossover athletes potentially that could You know, they're making, obviously this was a really huge incident and a huge mistake. So how do you smarten up these talents that are coming in?
Emily, first off, you want to bring people into pro wrestling that love it, that respect it, and that appreciate an opportunity. I don't think none of those were looked at by Roger Jackson as a great entry point to pro wrestling. Just wasn't. He didn't respect the business. He didn't respect the talent. And I don't think that he loves it. I think fame and making money supersede the fact that he should really try to integrate himself into the business as I love it. I'm a fan of it. That didn't happen. So with that said, everybody involved that brought him in have a claim to this. Like, this is not just Roger's fault. It's everybody's fault. And Stu just happened to be the guy that ended up getting in his face. Stu is a happenstance in this whole deal. And I hate that for him. He didn't deserve none of what he got because he gave his body, like David said. And rehearsals are, I feel like, one of the more important things in entertainment, whether it's a movie, voice work, pro wrestling, stage performances. You have to go over it and over it and over. And it's like that old adage, how do you get to Carnegie Hall? Practice. You have to do it over and over. You have to know it backwards and forwards. Nobody educated this kid. So that was the crux of the problem, is misunderstanding and miseducation. On Busted Open, we have a show, our Pro Wrestling 24/7. We have a show called The Masters Class. And we break down and talk about the nuances, the small, minute nuances, as well as blaring, obvious ones. I guarantee you that Roger's never watched the show. He's never sat down with someone and said, hey, teach me the history of pro wrestling. I guarantee you it didn't happen. So with that, the end result is what you get when you don't have some education. And again, like I said to all the people on social media that made it about race, I'm not siding with him because of his color. I'm not siding with the company because they did everything right. And I'm not siding with Stu because he was a victim. Everybody involved were at a deficit. And it's just a horrible situation. And I hope that, it can be all worked out, but it doesn't look like it to me.
Yeah, I want to go back to something you said too, Mark, is the way it appeared to me, it didn't seem like Raja was trying to be a wrestler. Like, it seemed like, just from hearing him talk at the beginning of that stream, he literally just showed up because he needed content, and his friend AJ was wrestling. So he just was like, hey, let me go check this out. I'll say some slick stuff to my chat, whatever. So just, if I put myself in his shoes for a second, he's just streaming. He goes backstage. He's being introduced to everybody. This guy comes up to him, and you can see from the video, Stu was thinking. He was trying to go somewhere with this. I don't know where he was trying to go, but he decided, I'm going to hit him with this beer can, and then what? This goes into he was drinking. So this wasn't a well thought out plan on his part, but he assumed, I don't know, they were going to do something. But if you're Raja, hey, look, you are just there as a spectator. You're seeing your buddy backstage. It's probably the first time he's ever been backstage at a wrestling event. And some guy comes up and just clocks him. But now think about this. He's on stream. This guy clocks him with a working shot with this beer can. So it doesn't hurt him. So that's got to throw somebody off. You're expecting this is going to hurt. But all of a sudden, it surprises you too. And it doesn't hurt. But it embarrassed him. You know what I mean? Like, this make him look bad
Exactly.
in front of his chat. So now Raja's like, well, what do I do? You know, do I fight him back right now? And if he had done that, all of this would have been avoided. And I'm going to tell you something else. So here's the legal side of this. If Raja had retaliated immediately, he could have done that lawfully, and it would have been self-defense. He could have jumped on Stu. He could have done whatever, and it would have been self-defense. The reason what he did in the ring about an hour later wasn't self-defense is because he didn't imminently believe that he was in danger. There was a cooling off period. In fact, they shook hands in between this, and he said, okay, he understands. Clearly he didn't, as we saw what happened in the ring.
David, and in that shaking of the hands, Stu also said, hey man, I ain't know. Like, that is an admission of, bro, I don't know what's going on. I don't even know how we got here. I apologize, and you accept my apology. Like, they went through it all.
Yeah.
It should have never happened.
And to go with what you're saying, exactly, at that point, they shake hands. It's clear. Stu didn't know. Raja didn't know. But what is said to make Raja happy, they say, hey, we'll let you get a run in. We'll turn this into something.
That's where the problem is, David.
Absolutely.
Why didn't it end right there at the apology? Hey, man, I don't know what happened. I thought this was a part of the show. Something. And then everybody that's involved say, guys, hey, man, y'all got to turn the camera off. You know, like, if you want to stay and watch the show, great. But otherwise, we might have to ask you to leave. Yeah. Like, that's where it should have been.